Well, hello, and thank you for joining us once again for Stories of Great Christians. As our continuing story of William Carey, the shoemaker missionary to India, continues. Today we're in chapter 9 of 21. And let's see here. If you'd be so kind, leave a comment or suggestion if you have one. And also, don't forget, hit subscribe. Join us daily. Here we go. Chapter 9.
Stories of Great Christians. From its radio studios in Chicago, the Movie Bible Institute greets its friends everywhere with Chapter 9 of the transcribed dramatization, William Carey of India. William Carey was born to hard work and poverty. As the son of a humble village weaver, Carey had nothing to look forward to but an undistinguished life and a nameless grave. But when God entered William Carey's life, it changed him from a simple cobbler, a mender of shoes, into the brilliant and resourceful leader of a mighty missionary movement that shook the world. Last episode, you remember, we left William Carey as the pastor of a little Baptist congregation in the village of Moulton, England. The 4 years he spent at Moulton were hard years, but very important in his spiritual development. For it was during this time that Carey definitely heard the missionary call. At first, he was alone. Practically every important church leader was against the idea of foreign missions. But Carey didn't give up. Certain that God had called him, he started on an educational campaign. He began to talk about foreign missions with everyone he met. He preached about it in his little church. It echoed in his prayers. Then a call came to a new field of service. In February 1789, we find Will writing home to his father.
So you see, Father, it was just this week that I was invited to take a pastorate in the city of Leicester. The job is a difficult one, since this church has fallen into a wretched moral and spiritual condition. There are members and even deacons not fit to have fellowship with the Church of Christ. I hesitate to accept, not out of fear of the difficulties, but because I must await God's clear leading in this matter.
Mr. Carey, what are you thinking of, sir?
Oh, it mad, sir. Oh, it mad indeed.
We'll not stand for it, sir. We'll not stand for one bit of it.
Now, just a minute, friend. You called me as your pastor.
Aye, but not to destroy our church.
Aye.
Now, just a minute, friends. Sometimes one must destroy the evil so that he can save the good.
Aye, but this is madness, sir.
Telling us to give up our church membership. Indeed.
Are you trying to ruin our church, Mr. Carey?
But, friends, don't you see? It's the only way. You must vote to dissolve the church membership. Then only those who clearly testify to salvation and pledge themselves to live as Christians will be readmitted. Don't you see? Sin has taken such hold of this church that you must begin afresh.
Begin afresh indeed. Young man, this church has stood here for longer than you've been alive.
That may be so, but remember, the longer a sick person goes unattended, the more desperately sick he becomes. And friends, desperate diseases require desperate remedies.
Desperate remedies, is it? You'll not administer any desperate remedies to us, Mr. Carey.
Aye, and if you persist in your attitude, we'll be finding ourselves a man who's a pastor instead of a doctor.
However, none of these things took William Carey's mind away from its central thought, the evangelization of the world. In 1791, 2 years after taking the church at Leicester, Carey finished one of his greatest achievements, a book containing possibly the most careful and systematic survey of human needs and missionary opportunities that has ever been made. I think it would be worth our time to take just a brief look at this book by William Carey, a book that has been called the greatest missionary challenge ever written. Let's turn to the title page. See now, here it is. As you can see, it conforms to the custom of 18th century England. The title is a long one comprising almost a table of contents. Let me read it for you. An inquiry into the obligations of Christians to use means for the conversion of the heathens, in which the religious state of the different nations of the world, the success of former undertakings, and the practicability of further undertakings are considered by William Carey. Now let's turn over to the next page of Carey's book. Here we find a brief introduction which Carey begins with these words.
As our blessed Lord has required us to pray that his kingdom may come and his will be done on earth as it is in heaven, it becomes us not only to express our desires of that knowledge of his name, but in order to do this, it is vitally necessary that we should become acquainted with the religious state of the world.
With this as his keynote, William Carey goes on to describe the state of the world without Christ. It's no wonder that Carey's book has been called the greatest missionary challenge ever written. A few weeks after William Carey finished his book, he happened to be visiting a friend in the city of Birmingham.
Well, friend Carey, it's been a long, long time since we met last.
Aye, Mr. Potts, I must confess it's so. I've honestly meant to visit you ere this, but I've been a mite busy.
So I hear. Say, tell me, what's this bee buzzing in your bonnet about foreign missions?
Oh, you've heard about that?
Practically everyone in this part of the country has heard how you nearly gave old Pastor Ryland a case of heart failure. Or was it apoplexy?
Mr. Ryland is a sincere man, sir. Perhaps I was a bit too forward at the meeting.
Repentance is all very well, friend Carey, but you show no disposition to mend your ways.
Well, I must confess you're right about that.
Why, I understand you introduce the subject of foreign missions on every possible occasion. Mr. Fuller solemnly assured me that you had made up your mind to preach a missionary sermon at a wedding, and were only discouraged after the bridegroom threatened you with a sound thrashing.
Well, now, that I deny completely. But seriously, sir, I do strongly believe that something should be done for the millions yet unreached with the gospel.
That's all very well, sir, but how can it be done? And who will do it?
Well, Mr. Potts, if you ask who will go, I tell you plainly I've made up my mind that if a few friends can be found who will promise their financial support for just 1 year, I shall go wherever God opens the door.
But where exactly would you go? Have you thought of that, friend Carey?
Yes, indeed I have. I'm most strongly inclined to the islands of the South Seas. If any Christian groups will send me out and provide my living for 1 year, I'm ready and willing to go.
1 year? But suppose you were sent out and supported for a year. What would you do after that?
Mr. Potts, I believe, others may disagree, but these are my views, I believe missionaries should not be dependent on support from those at home.
Does seem like a foolish idea. How would they be supported then?
Well, they should support themselves.
Oh, but friend Carey,
Is that so surprising? Well, Mr. Potts, I've studied a great many areas of the world, and really, there are very few places so barren that a missionary can't support himself on the field.
In what way, for example?
In many ways. Circumstances vary, but there's often mining, hunting, plantation work, and almost always there are opportunities for farming and teaching.
I see. Well, friend Carey, this whole missionary idea is very new. Judging from the opposition you've experienced, Christians, both ministers and laymen alike, are not ready for such adventurous undertakings.
Yes, I'm painfully aware of that, Mr. Potts.
Tell me, what are we to do about it?
Why, Mr. Potts,
Yes, friend Carey, say no more. You convinced me of the need. My only question, how shall we proceed?
Sir, as you say, our problem is to win support among Christians for the proposal. Now, I've recently written a piece on the state of the heathen world.
Very interesting.
And I believe if it were published, it might awaken some response.
Well, then, what are you waiting for? Why not publish it at once?
For the very best of reasons, sir. I simply don't have the money.
How much would you need?
Well, for a regular edition, the printers charge £10.
No small sum. But if that's all that's hindering, I think I can bear the expense.
You? What? Why, that would be wonderful, sir. I never thought
Yes, indeed, friend Carey. We'll have it printed by all means. I believe Christians should be given every chance to decide this issue for themselves.
Thanks to the generosity of Mr. Potts, the inquiry was published. It caused a tremendous stir all over England. But to Carey, the book was only a means to an end. His primary aim was the formation of a society for sending out missionaries, and he was determined to press home this message in every way possible. His next great opportunity came in the spring of 1792. He was invited to be the principal speaker at the Baptist Ministers Association meeting in Nottingham.
And now, my friends, I have just one illustration that may yet move your heart. You know, when a trading company is granted a charter by the government, they carry it every bit as far as they're permitted. Their ships, their goods, their officers, and their men are chosen with that in mind. But they don't stop here. They're filled with the hope of success. So they use every effort, cast their bread upon waters, cultivate the friendships of anyone who might be of help to them. They cross the widest oceans, face the most unpleasant climates, and sometimes experience the most bitter and shameful hardships in order to create a market for their product. Christians are a company whose success lies in exalting the name of Christ. Today, my friends, I offer you a challenge and a motto that might very well belong to every great missionary of the past and of the present, a motto that should sound in our ears like a battle cry to lead us to the far corners of the earth. And this is the motto, just 2 lines, 2 exhortations. Expect great things from God. Attempt great things for God. John, Andrew, don't go. I want to talk to you.
Well, I'll tell you, Will, that is, we don't mean to hurry off.
We have something to take care of. Well, you understand.
But I don't understand, not in the least. John, have you no word for me? What of the sermon, Andrew?
What? It was a fine sermon, Will.
Indeed, yes, Will. It did my heart good.
Did your heart? What on earth?
And now, if you'll excuse us, Will, I think we'll be going.
Yes, we'll get together later and talk a bit.
No, wait. John, Andrew, is this your only answer to the challenge I've offered? More delay, more talk? Are we going to continue doing nothing?
Oh, now, Will, don't work yourself up
This is something to be worked up about. We've seen that some people don't seem to know God's will regarding missions. For them, there's some excuse. But John, Andrew, we know God's will. Do we dare ignore it any longer?
Will's right, John.
He is that. And I'm hardly ashamed of myself for being a coward.
Then we can do something at last.
Aye. First thing tomorrow morning, we'll call a meeting.
Tomorrow morning? No, not tomorrow morning.
What will? When do you suggest that we...
Tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight in this very hall.
But, well, everyone's tired. We can't continue.
John, Andrew, tomorrow's too late. We'll meet tonight.
So we conclude Chapter 9 of William Carey of India. We are presenting another in the transcribed series of Stories of Great Christians, which come to you from the radio studios of the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago.
Once humble and and shy, and now a little bit bold and demanding. Well, at least they're getting somewhere. He is concerned about the people who should be elders and deacons not even being qualified. And so he's becoming more and more, as he's pastored 4 years now, becoming more and more close to the Lord, and finally has the group on board for missions. Well, let's see what happens. There's 11 more chapters after this, and we'll move on to chapter 10, should the Lord will, and you'll be with us for the next episode. Till then, it's always a pleasure to have you. Don't forget, leave a comment and hit subscribe. Till next time, adios, grow in grace.